let's move on to our fifth ticker, and that is General Motors. The United Auto Workers strike now costing GM more than $1 billion during the third quarter, according to JP. Now, this all comes as the car maker temporarily laid off 6,000 workers in Mexico because of this strike. Scott Gamm is back with me from the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Scott, this comes after we saw some of those temporary freezes over in Canada as well. What specifically is JPM pointing to as the biggest risk right now?
Well, I think it's the lack of production in terms of the strike, and that's why JP Morgan's estimate of $1 billion is so striking. And I think the consensus on Wall Street is that a more prolonged strike could continue to hit the company's bottom line in a meaningful way. Now, JP Morgan does point out that the company might be able to recover some of that lost production in the fourth quarter, especially if this strike ends. But remember, we also heard some separate commentary from JP Morgan a few weeks ago when this strike started, that if the strike was prolonged, that if it extended past October 12th, which happens to be the reference point of the government's monthly jobs number, you could start to see the strike affect the monthly jobs number that the market follows so closely. So the October jobs report isn't released until early November, so we won't know until then. But certainly there are broader economic implications for a prolonged strike as well. And then here's what I find the most interesting point of all of this. Capital Economics came out with some commentary today that the weak ISM number we saw this morning, which was the lowest reading since 2009 that contributed to the significant market sell-off we saw today, could be because of the GM strike. That lost production could start to be trickling down into some of the economic and manufacturing data points that we're seeing. So if that indeed is true, that should give investors a sigh of relief that this weak ISM number was more of a one-off issue rather than some sort of fundamental issue with the U.S. manufacturing sector. Akiko.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Scott.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.